It's been a while, almost a month. Uh, but believe it or not, there's not a lot of baseball news happening in February. And as you can see, probably, or if you're listening, there's kind of a different setup we have. I'm trying some different things, trying some new things out, and much like spring training, I'm just testing the waters to see what's going to stick for the regular season. I might be buying some new stuff and maybe a different backdrop, different set, and in its entirety, if I could talk. But we're here today mostly because the Phillies played an actual baseball game today, which is just great. Which I woke up this morning. I texted a couple friends. I'm like, guys, Phillies play baseball today. It's a great day. It's my second favorite day of the year behind opening day. And I had I had like my whole getup. As you can see, I have this Bryce Harper shirt from the playoffs. I was wearing my Trey Turner jersey I got for my birthday. And all around it was some great fun. Obviously, the Phillies won today, and obviously, I take everything that happens in spring training kind of with a grain of salt, mostly because the guys who are going to be the main guys are going to do whatever. But it's the bench guys that you kind of have to look out for. And we saw some of those bench guys today. Excuse me, kind of have some big games, which was nice. But before we even get into that, I kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that's happened since I last recorded, namely the Jose Alvarado and Sir Anthony Dominguez signed contract extensions. Sir Anthony signed a 2-year extension and Alvarado a 3-year extension, which is great to see. Dombrowski locked up the back end of the bullpen for a couple years now with Gregory Soto. Obviously, he didn't do that. He still has team control. But with Alvarado and Dominguez, those three core guys. Pardon me. Those three core guys are going to be back in the back end of that bullpen for a while, which is great because every knock that you ever see on Dave Dombrowski is that he is his inability to build a bullpen. And I think in a combination with Sam Fold and Ani and the smart front office guys, that they can identify really, really good bullpen pieces and be like, Dombrowski, get this guy, get all these guys. Um, and we obviously saw through a lot of minor league deals, that they kind of targeted guys with not a lot of great command, but with nasty stuff, and they're hoping that they can get the same kind of situation that they had with Jose Alvarado to kind of control that. And props to Alvarado and Sir Anthony. Sir Anthony, I love that extension. That's great. That's a good boost to confidence and rewarding a guy for being so dominant in the playoffs and in the regular season last year. And Jose Alvarado, he earned that contract. I mean, after June 12th, when he came back from Lehigh Valley, he was the best relief pitcher in baseball. Not the best lefty. Now, he was the best relief pitcher in baseball. Like when he would come into a game after that, I would be like, oh, this is going to be a 1-2-3 inning. This is going to be a really easy inning for this guy. And he earned that 3-year contract extension. He obviously was a guy who was a free agent at the end of the year, and Dombrowski made sure he was going nowhere. And now, if you look at it, the two big pieces that the Phillies will be losing this offseason is Aaron Nola and Rhys Hoskins. And there's really rumblings that Aaron Nola is going to get a contract extension before the beginning of the season. And if I'm Dombrowski and if I have to pick between Aaron Nola or Rhys Hoskins, I'm picking Aaron Nola, because you can have a three-headed, really a complete rotation. If you have Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, you just signed Taijuan Walker for 4 years. And if Andrew Painter is what we think he's going to be, and I have notes about that. If you see me looking down at my notes are on my phone. And if we think Andrew Painter is going to be who we think he's going to be, 1 through 5, that's a top 5, top 7 rotation in baseball. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just me thinking like every guy's high end that's what this rotation can be. Maybe not. I mean, maybe I'm a little overzealous with it, but screw it. So it kind of seems like with the Dombrowski press conference he had the other day, it sounds like a priority of his is to get that extension done. And even if you don't, you have Andrew Painter coming, you have McAble coming, you have Griff McGarry coming. If you move on from Nola, how confident are you that one of those guys are going to take his place? That's still left to be seen, which I really think a Nola contract gets done. I think it's going to be 7 years in the 25 to 27 AAV range. I think that's what his contract is going to look like. And hey, he earned it. He's one of the most durable pitchers in baseball. He's one of my favorite players, and he's definitely earned that money. If I have to give props to Matt Klentak at all, which I hate doing, it's that he kind of fleeced Aaron Nola in his first contract extension. Like Klentak kind of projected what he was going to be, and paid him accordingly, and it worked out. And I think he's going to get a lot more, and he's earned that. But like I said, it kind of sounds like Reese is out, which I I'm fine with, but like I get why people aren't. Like Reese is a homegrown guy. He's gonna demand probably like 5 years, 110, 120 maybe. Um, and I just don't think the Phillies have. I mean, hearing that John Middleton quote, and I'll pull up the quote now, it leads me to believe that he's not going to care how much money it takes to sign some guys, because he's just like, I don't care what it takes. Like, we're going to pay whoever, whatever. And that's just going to be that. So this was the exact quote from John Middleton. He said, quote, "How much money do the 27 Yankees make, or the 29 A's, or the 75 to 76 Big Rig Machine? Does anyone know? Does anybody care? Nobody knows, and nobody cares whether any of them made any money or not. And nobody cares about whether I make money or not. If my legacy is that I didn't lose any money owning a baseball team on an annual operations basis, that's a pretty sad legacy. It's about putting trophies in cases." So I would not put it past John Middleton to just say, screw it. Blank check to Rhys Hoskins, blank check to Aaron Nola. Let's keep these guys together in order to pursue a championship. And, the thing they talked about on the broadcast today during the game was 2 more wins. That's how many wins they're looking for this season, because that's how many wins they were away from winning the World Series. So Middleton is just going to say, F it, and here's a blank check to you, blank check to you. Let's keep these guys together. I'm all for it. But I wouldn't be shocked if we kept both of them, honestly. But if I'm Dave Dombrowski, if I'm Sam Fold, if I'm the front office, and I have to pick between Aaron Nola or a Rhys Hoskins, I'm picking Aaron Nola. I just think, to me, pitching wins you championships, and pitching is a lot more valuable than hitting. And yes, Rhys Hoskins is a very valuable hitter in this core guys and on this team, but he's not easily replaceable, but like, he's a guy like you can fill in there. You can move Bohm the third to first and have Edmundo Sosa be your third baseman. Look for another third baseman on the free agent market, if that's the direction you want to go, or just give Hoskins whatever he wants and he's your first baseman, and then that's that. But moving on from the Aaron Nola Dominguez contract, all that. Andrew Painter, and I kind of touched on it a little bit. Everything that I've seen reported from the media guys to hearing players talk is that he is the real deal. He is the guy that we think he's going to be. And obviously there was that clip that was going around of Schwarber hitting the home run, and I sent it to Matt Saporsky, friend of the pod, and he it was like, oh God, we got another bust, another Spencer Howard on our hands. But I'm kidding. I think Andrew Painter is going to be he's going to be very good. I don't want to get my hopes up that much, because you also gotta peel back the human element of this. He's 19 years old, going in with high expectations to be, the next guy on this team. So I think we need to kind of dial back our expectations as fans, but also realize and recognize that this guy is going to be a very, very good pitcher, hopefully for a very, very long time. And I think the Phillies are a smart team in the sense that they're not going to push him, like a workhorse, similar to are not similar to how the Nationals did it with Steven Strasburg, where they just kind of let him loose. And obviously, we see his career kind of derailed, which is a shame because Steven Strasburg was one of my favorite pitchers. As a baseball fan, obviously, as a Phillies fan, I hated facing him, but as a baseball fan, what that guy can do on the field when he's healthy is unreal. And I think the Phillies are going to look at that because Painter and him kind of have a similar build, not build, but like repertoire in the sense of like power guys at a very young age and kind of be like, all right, don't do that. And I think the front office guys are smart enough. They're everybody in that team is smart enough to realize that they need to dial back his workload. He did pitch 130 innings last year, which was crazy, which I didn't think, or was it 103? It was at 130 or 103. It was one of them, but very big difference. But my point is, he pitched over 100 innings. So I think I'm looking at that range for him if he does make it to the big leagues. I am looking at a 6-man rotation, and we'll get to that later. Of who I would like to see as the fifth starter, because I would consider Painter the sixth guy. Especially to give Wheeler and Nola an extra day, especially coming off that long postseason and not a very long off season for them, more that they're used to. And then just kind of the we can kind of clump these together, but the vibes around this team are like none other. Every year, my main complaint as a Phillies fan it was they didn't feel like a family, and in order to win championships, in order to win, you know, anything in anything, you need to be like family. You need to get along with the people that you're playing the game with. And every year, it just felt like guys just playing baseball. It didn't feel like guys playing baseball, if that makes sense. It just felt very like clicky. I feel like that, you have the stars and like random guys and these guys, like this just feels like everybody's rooting for each other and they're ripping on each other and being guys that I love seeing, like the behind the scenes stuff, like on Twitter of them like joking with each other and laughing and having fun and enjoying each other. And that's something we haven't had in a very long time. Um, and just the positivity and the encouraging everybody on this team and wanting to get back there and the desire to win because they got a taste of it finally. They got a taste of how it feels to succeed and they want that back badly. And I think Dave Dombrowski in the front office has set them up very, very, very well to get back to that position. I don't know if they're going to make the World Series. They might win it. It's so hard to get there. And that magical run in 2022 was that. It was a magical run. And I think there is some legitimacy to the level of talent that they have, because if you look, excuse me, if you look back when Girardi was fired, like from June 1st on, they were right there with the Dodgers, with the Mets, with the Braves, with the best records in the National League and in the entirety of baseball. So I think there is some legitimacy to that team and how good they can be. Yes, obviously they're going to be without Bryce Harper for majority of the year, but I think they can stay afloat. They've done enough this offseason. Obviously, Trey Turner is going to be stepping in. Alec Boehm, which we'll get to Boehm because I'm very high on him this season. Bryson Stott's going to take a step forward. Reese Hoskins is going to get better. Nick Castellanos, we'll get to him as well. I fear for the league. You're going to have a full year of Brandon Marsh, who showed excellent strides, and Schwarber's going to do his thing. Like, this team has the ability to stay afloat, and we even saw that a little bit when Harper went down last year. Their ability to stay afloat without their superstar, and now add that guy in, whatever position this team is in by the All-Star break. Harper's going to come back, and it's going to be a little bit before he's Bryce Harper. You would think that guy's an alien. So I really don't know what kind of Bryce Harper we're going to get when he comes back, but it's going to be great. Another thing to note, Dancing on My Own is officially retired. I think Kyle Schwarber said it was a second place song. So just a moment of silence for that. All right. And we're moving on. Now I want to get to my guys for 2023. I put a TikTok out, and if you don't follow me there, we're blowing up. I'm kidding. Or am I? But I released a TikTok that said players I'm buying stock in for 2023, and the four guys I put in are Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, Bailey Falter, and Matt Strom. I'm very high on these four guys. Alec Boehm, I think, is the guy I am the highest on. According to reports, he came in 15 pounds heavier with muscle. It looked like in the spring training he was not just his swing just looked like he's trying to launch the ball more. It just looks like he's finally going to put it together this year, and he's made strides defensively. We saw that last year, and he's only going to get better with that. I just think we're in for a very, very good Alec Boehm year. I think he's going to be, 280 to 300 hitter, 20, 25 bombs, like around an 800 OPS, and fine defense at third. I don't think you're ever going to get a gold glove out of Alec Boehm, but he's not a liability out there anymore, which is great. And I'm so happy for him because you could see the toll it was taking. And I kind of touched on this on an earlier episode where you can kind of go one of two ways. With what happened with Alec Boehm is you can either have that mentally affect you and kind of beat yourself up and be mad at the team like a certain pitching prospect we had that got traded to the Rangers in the Kyle Gibson trade. Or you can do what Alec Boehm did, which was accept responsibility and only get better. And the city embraced him. And I think that only lifted his game and is going to elevate his game. Brandon Marsh, I think, is going to be the guy the Angels thought he was going to be this year, which is a high average guy, 10 home runs, maybe 15, maybe, and play gold glove caliber defense out there in center field. I'm very high on Brandon Marsh. I think he's going to be, solid for this team. And if he's your 9 hitter, that's great because, say it's the beginning of the whatever inning, you can lay down a bunt. He has great speed. He gets on, and then you flip the lineup over to Schwarber, Turner, Harper when he's back, Real Muto, Hoskins. Like, that's the beauty of having Brandon Marsh as your 9th hitter is he is a contact guy. He's hitting the ball the other way a lot better. I just think that he's in for a huge year. And another guy I think is going to be very, very underrated on this team is Bailey Falter. He obviously didn't look great in the one playoff game he started, but the thing with Bailey Falter is the farther he gets into a game, the better he is, the more he locks in. And obviously during a postseason run, you can't really do that, which why I think he's gonna benefit from the pitch clock a little bit. I think he's going to benefit from trying to attack hitters a little less. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking right now. I don't know how sensitive this mic is, but I think he's going to benefit a lot from that. I think he's going to be the 5th starter. I think he's earned that. I really look at that 5 start stretch when Wheeler was out and he had like a 2.5 ERA. I think during that time he was very, very good. I don't think he's going to be a 2.5 guy. I think he's going to be a high 3, low 4 guy. But if that's what you're getting from Bailey Falter as your 5th starter, that's fantastic. That's excellent. And I think he has that ability in him that, he doesn't throw 98, 99, but his release and how far he gets off of the mound, it looks like it's coming in at 97, 98, 99, even though it's 93 or 94. So I'm very high on him. I think he's a great locator of the ball. I think he has great off-speed stuff. So look for Bailey Falter to have a really solid year this year. And then my last guy was Matt Strom. I think they're going to use him as a bullpen guy. I think they paid him as a bullpen guy. I don't know if they're going to use him as a swingman because he has the ability to start. He has started. He started with the Red Sox, but then he moved to the bullpen. Smart people really liked Matt Strom, and the more I looked into his numbers and did a deep dive into him, the more I liked him. And I'm not portraying myself as a smart baseball guy. I'm not. I just think that Matt Strom is in for a very big year. I think he's going to be really, really good with this Phillies development and pitching staff. I think the coaches are going to really get the best out of him. I really trust everybody in this coaching and in this front, like everybody. I just trust everybody in this organization from top to bottom. I just think they're going to get the most out of every single one of their players, and I couldn't be happier. I think Matt Strom is going to be very, very good for this team. So the first spring training game was today, and I'm deeming it the Weston Wilson game. You might be asking yourself, Jared, who is Weston Wilson? Couldn't tell you. He's a minor league invitee, and he went, I think, like 3 for 3, had 4 RBIs. He had a homer, played pretty good defense. My guy, Weston Wilson. But some things that stood out is Josh Harrison looked really, really comfortable at the plate. Had a really good defensive plays, which kind of cheeky. And the with the new rules with the shift, is a player has to be in the grass. And there's a clip of it on Twitter when he would release the ball, the pitcher would release, he would move up to the dirt simultaneously to kind of get a jump to see where the ball is, which I thought was nice. So in terms of pitchers, we had Nelson, MacArthur, Marte, Head, Bowden, uh, Morales, Baker, Cobb, and Cruz. Everybody did their job outside of Bowden. Bowden went an inning, 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Other than that, the guy that impressed me the most was Andrew Baker, and I think I mentioned him previously as a guy to look out for to take the jump this year. It looked fantastic. I think his stuff plays. He has that wipeout slider, and I really like Junior Marte, who was acquired from the Giants. Um, he was throwing like 99, 100 with sink. Obviously, he gave up the homer, but it's hard to hit that. And I really love, after being a Phillies fan for so long and dealing with Matt Klentak, and I will keep coming back to that guy because of how terrible he ran this organization. To have power arms in this from top to bottom in this entire organization is just fantastic to see. I loved a lot of the stuff that we saw from every pitcher. I think everybody did their part. But I'm most impressed with I am most impressed with Weston Wilson. Weston Wilson was a guy who was signed as a minor league free agent. And I just think he's gonna be a guy. Maybe, I don't know. He was drafted by the Brewers, 17th round. He had a 228 average last year. I have his baseball reference up right now, so I'm not pulling these numbers out of my tuckus. But I think he could be a potential guy in the minors that might be a swingman in case, God forbid that Castellanos gets hurt or whoever. He can play all the outfield positions. Why not? Like, I think the spring training game went about as good as I hoped. Everybody showed up. The pitching was great. The offense did its job. The young guys showed up. Marsh had 3 hits, so he looked really good. He looked locked in. And again, I take all spring training everything with a grain of salt. I think it's smart to do that unless it's good things, because then I'll be like, oh, Alec Boehm hit a home run, get the MVP banners out for Alec Boehm. But yeah, baseball's back, and I'm upset because I work all day, and I won't be able to watch a lot of the spring training games. But I'll try to like watch them on my phone during like downtime or whatever. Because I'm not missing Andrew Painter pitch at all. I refuse. I will not do it. But I think that's going to be it for me today. I hopefully will get another episode out soon, and I'm sorry there was such a lull in between. Life has been kind of crazy, and there's not a lot to talk about, and I like having bigger episodes. I don't want to have like 4 15-minute episodes, because then that's just stupid. I'd rather have 1 hour long episode. Obviously, this is an hour. It's probably like 30 minutes, maybe. I don't know. I've just been keep talking and talking and talking, but I think that's going to be it for me. Thank you everybody for watching. I will follow me on everything. Everything's down in the description of everything, and that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching as I weirdly turn everything off now.